Welcome to Leafs Quick Hits. I'm Chris.
And I'm Sil.
And a lot of games to talk to, and we'll get into that. But first, we want to thank our Spotify listeners for giving us a 5-star rating in 2024. We did post this along with a few other Spotify stats from our Spotify Wrapped for 2024, and we just want to officially say thank you. For our Apple listeners, don't forget you can also give us a rating and a review. When you visit our profile page on Apple, you just have to go below the episode, just scroll down, and you'll see the ratings and review section. It would be nice that if you could give us a 5-star review or a 5-star rating.
And also, our number one show on Spotify for 2024 is from the start of this season when we had Nick Barden on from the Hockey News, giving us an update on Leafs prospects, a couple of which are playing for the big club right now. So if you haven't listened to that episode from September, you should go back in our catalog and check it out. We hope to have Nick on again in the new year to give us an update on the Marlies, who currently sit third place right now in the North Division of the American Hockey League.
So now we're just going to tell you a little bit about our show sponsor, BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen.
With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NHL, NBA, and college basketball, and UFC as well, head to betonline.ag today and don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know needs support or advice, you can reach out to Connex Ontario or an organization near you.
All right, so we're going to get into Leafs now. And first off, I guess we'll just start with Auston Matthews being back for the first, for 4 games now. And what do you think of his game? I was the first, versus Chicago and Nashville, I thought he was pretty good. And then Washington, I think the whole team was kind of... It was an odd kind of game, actually, that one versus the Capitals, but they didn't get much offense going. The one thing I did not like is the fact that they went, I know they had that 5-minute spurt with Marner in the, being together with Marner, versus Nashville. And that's how they basically won the game. But then Berube just went right back to them together on Friday versus the Capitals. And I wasn't too keen on that move.
No, I have to agree with you on that. I think I said before that I kind of hope that they keep them separated and use them as like a secret weapon, because, when within the game, when you put them together, there's definitely a magical spark there that happens. Anyway, I wonder if they may separate them again now for a little bit of time.
But Marner and Tavares, they've had great chemistry,
for sure.
I mean, I kind of had a feeling when Matthews came back into the lineup that this was going to happen, because they gotta kind of rejig things a little bit, and it doesn't help too that we don't. Still on their left side. I mean, I have no idea why they had Pontus Holmberg there for the first 2 games. That was just ridiculous, how he could be there. But yeah, I mean, Holmberg, I looked up his stats too, and the highest number of goals he has scored in his career was back in 2021-22 with Vaxio Hockey Club, or Vaxio, Vaxjo. With your Swedish lessons, do you know how to pronounce that right?
That might be it.
Or Vaxo, something like that. Anyhow, he had 11 goals. That's the most goals he's ever scored.
Well, so he's a bottom 6 guy. I guess they're thinking that they're going to get some of the defensive, getting into the corners, getting the pucks out type of game, but he's not as physical. As say like Nyes But going back to Matthews' game, I kind of felt like, the first couple games, you come back from an injury, there's a little bit of that adrenaline burst, but then there's like a bit of a regression back to, I'm still kind of rusty.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little bit of, first couple games, great. Plus we're against weaker opponents, second two games, maybe a bit of a regression of, especially with a lot of games in 1 week and his first week back, there's a little bit of maybe fatigue setting in, towards the end because he still doesn't have his full game legs back potentially.
Yeah. And I mean, cause I don't see any hesitation in his game. Like everything's that way, or I don't see any issue that way.
I'm not seeing the same kind of weird mistakes and giveaways and stuff like that we were seeing before he went off.
Yeah.
So definitely he looks better, but maybe there's, I think, like you said, though, like the timing of the team was off completely. Now that we're getting people back, they're rejigging some of the lines. So the combinations that were really hitting before, like we just said, they're not there anymore. So now people have to get used to something different again. And that's going to have its little bit of adjustment time.
But it's still the same problem that even when we had all the guys out, let's just say, including Matthews, still the same problem is that the bottom six is not scoring.
Yeah, it's
right. It's just the
like
usual
a broken
thing.
record right now, with the depth scoring not being there. I don't know. Like I kind of wonder, Pacioretty is back. I was kind of surprised that they put him on the top line.
Yeah,
I'm like, really?
Especially in the first game back
to me. Yeah,
especially in his first game back. Like I said, what? And I heard on another. I was listening to another podcast or whatever. And it was almost like he's the Joe Thornton of the like the way they were trying to. Keefe was trying to force that on Matthews and Marner a little bit, but I mean it has to change though, because Marner, like last night, we're recording this on Sunday, but on Saturday night versus the Penguins, he played over 25 minutes. Like
they're gonna fry him big time.
They just can't do that, and I mean they took a lot of stupid penalties in that game too. Versus
for
the
sure,
Penguins.
and Berube said that basically they have to stay out of the box.
Yeah, that was, I guess, a key issue in that loss to the Penguins. But yeah, and then I was wondering that too with Pacioretty, why he was, and I mean he didn't play bad. He had a couple of the penalties, but I think he was a little bit over rambunctious or whatever with his
excited to be back.
Yes, yeah. So, and he said that after the game too. But
what about one thing before we move on though? Like what about the fact that McCabe's been out, like how much of a factor do you think that is for the game right now?
No, I think.
I mean, I know he's not like the guy that they're the shutdown pair, really.
Yeah,
but it has forced them to tweak the pairings that they've had a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking more that. I love Simon Benoit, our buddy. Simon Benoit has been playing great since he was sat out. I'm thinking Timmins needs to be sitting out the next because he hasn't played that great the last few games during this past week versus Nashville Capitals. But I mean, yes, Jake McCabe is a loss, obviously a big loss, and to have that shutdown pairing with Tanev. But
I'm just thinking that in this last little bit that Riley has has been much less noticeable and has not contributed anything now that he's not playing with OEL.
Right. And so OEL, I'm forgetting though. He's a right shot, right? Or is he left shot defenseman?
He's a right.
Oh geez.
Hang on. So
I'm going to look that up. But while I'm looking it up, though, because they're saying that Oliver Ekman-Larsson is not playing the greatest on his offside. So that's the part that,
so maybe he's a lefty, but he's been playing with Riley. I think that Riley's been better with him than he is, obviously, with who is he playing with now?
Riley. Oh, he's playing with Myers, Philip Myers.
Right.
Yeah, with the
he has been okay, but he doesn't like Riley. There's something. It makes a difference who he plays with. That's something we've always known.
Yeah,
So I think that when he's playing with a guy that is, I mean, let's face it, Myers is, he's like a seventh defenseman kind of guy, right? He's now playing minutes with Riley, but Riley's game's got to change if you're playing with a guy like that. It's not the same as playing with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who does everything right. He's freer mentally.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that has an effect, and that has an effect on their offense too, frankly.
Look at this. I'm looking on the Leafs app to see about the right shot, left shot, and it doesn't have anything. It has all the, so now I'm going to have to go somewhere else. But yes, because now I want to know about Oliver Ekman-Larsson to make sure that
I know, but I'm not sure that's really good podcast, like us looking up stuff. But anyway.
That's okay. I had some computer issues beforehand, so we can blame it on that. But yeah, so it is now. He shoots left. Okay, so it's a left shot D. So that's interesting, though, because people were saying that I was hearing that people say that he should be playing on the right side because Morgan Riley is a left-hand shot. Like I know that. So the fact that that Oliver Ekman-Larsson is playing on the right, he's playing on his offside. So even though he can play both, because some people were saying that like he's not playing that great, like when he's with Riley.
Well, I think that the whole thing is, I don't think the whole thing is not to get the most out of him. He's not playing bad, on that side. I mean, there's a reason why they put them together. So, anyways, I just wonder because I think it's an underrated thing when the defense is augmented, that does have an effect on offense too.
They're distributing the puck to the offensive players, right, to get it up to them, and when that kind of goes wonky, then you're gonna see it. But another interesting point was the fact that our buddy there, Nick Robertson, got scratched. Was a healthy scratch versus Pittsburgh, and Craig Berube said that he talked to him saying that like before the game and told him like he just basically has to play better. And he's right. He said like he told him he's like he can shoot the puck, he can skate, and he can like he can be a playmaker too, but it's just not happening for him right now. And it's just
I think that he's one of these guys that he wants to do a lot more, and he knows that he can do more. I think he's just always trying too hard. He doesn't let the game come to him. He's always chasing it, and that's how it looks on the ice. Yeah. So, that's never good when you're trying too hard. Like I think that he just needs to settle
the
down
puck a little bit too. Like when there is a pass, the analysts on, or whether I think it was on TSN, that on Friday night, like there was an opportunity for him to pass to Nylander, who was wide open, but he kept the puck and he shot it basically, and it went.
So I think that's part of his problem is he needs to know his role, and he needs to stay in his lane, and he's going to have success when he does that. But the thing is, when he does things like this, and then when he gets the opportunity and he misses and then he falls down, that's not exactly going to win him brownie points. They need to get through to him what his role is. They have enough guys that are what he wants to be. If that's what he wants to be, and that's what he's going to be trying to force all the time, he's going to force his way off the team in the end.
No, that's true.
Because they don't need that. They need someone who can play down in the lineup and finish there.
Yeah, definitely. It's the finishing part. We need somebody to score in that bottom six, and he'd be perfect for that, and he would get like,
it's just, he needs to allow it. He needs to accept it. He needs to surrender to that.
Yeah. And
then it'll go. it'll go.
Berube also said like it's his job as a coach to help him get him there to that
Absolutely.
point, right? So it's not like he's not trying to not believing in him. He believes in him.
No, they all do, because they've been saying that to a man all season long so far. It's the fans and analysts and everybody else that are getting on the poor guy's case. But so I hope it clicks for him eventually, but it's probably good for him to sit out and watch for a night, different perspective.
So for sitting out, let's just say now that the reinforcements are coming, obviously. And obviously Pacioretty came back last night versus the Penguins. Max Domi apparently is the closest to coming back. Probably, possibly on Tuesday night. I don't know if he went on the trip. They didn't really say that to New Jersey. But he's either going to be like Tuesday or Thursday, they're saying. And then McCabe could be back on Thursday versus the Ducks as well. So what do you think that means for Fraser Minten? Because these are all like...
Well, I mean, after their kind of hotter start, they have kind of settled down a little bit. So I'm okay if they go back down to the Marlies.
Grabenkin, I think, could... Because he's another one that didn't play versus the Penguins. But I don't know. I kind of like him as opposed to having Reeves there. I know,
but the thing is they're never gonna
do that.
No, they're not gonna. No. So you may as well let him go down. He can play on the first line down there, which is what he was doing before, and he's going to get a lot more, probably better reps that way, and work on his game.
And what about Alex Nylander? Do you think he'll get through waivers? He hasn't done much.
I think he could get through. There's a reason why he wasn't picked up by anybody this summer too. I know apparently he had offers.
Yeah, he had offers.
But still, I don't know.
Because he had a stupid penalty. He was one in the third period versus Pittsburgh. He had a penalty that wasn't a good one to take.
Who would be looking at that and going, "Yeah, I need that guy."
Yeah, I don't know, but he's cheap. It's cheap, right? So you never know. I don't know.
Yeah, but they had their fun. They got to play together a bit, so the wish was granted, and it may be time to, say goodbye then.
We'll see you at the condo or whatever.
Yeah.
Since they live together anyways, him and Willie, right?
Well, if he gets picked up by somebody, but honestly, I don't really see it. I don't really think he's shown enough that some other team's going to go, yeah, that's the guy we're looking for. That's the guy who's going to make a difference.
Yeah, no,
not quite yet.
Out of the three, I think Fraser Minten is the most to possibly stay.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Craig Berube really likes him, and
I know. I just really think they need to have the right people with him. So
but it would be lower in the bottom six, right? And we need a center.
So then you think that when Domi comes back, he could be on his wing?
No, I would put Domi up with Matthews.
Yeah, but that's what I would do
Marner
too.
Down.
But that's not what they're going to do.
Why not?
Well, why not is because they're, I don't know, apparently smarter than all of us who think that Domi should play up there. But I don't think that Berube has not toyed with that at all this year.
No, not yet. Yeah, that's one combination.
That's a key thing. So I'm not sure that I don't see it. I don't really think they're going to do it. That's what I would like to see. Like you, I agree with you 100%. But I wonder if he would be on Minten's wing if he stays.
If he doesn't stay, then it's back to Holmberg being the third line center. We're trying for that. What we were saying, that if Berube can actually continue to work with Holmberg to try and be that strong defensive centerman. But I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, let's just say, by the end of this week anyways, to see. So because I don't think Bobby McMahon, I don't think he's ready to come back yet. So.
No, but not too far down the road, I don't think. But I don't know. Plus now we're getting a little too close to Christmas now as well. So as far
There's
as
not
like
gonna
a
be any
real
deals.
roster shakeup, like nothing
No.
like that's going to happen.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see when people come back. I mean, this is always a thing, when injuries happen, the team seems to come together and has success. And then when people start coming back, then it all kind of falls apart for a little bit. So, it's tough because I would like them to get like some good, games under them before all the breaks start. In the new year, there's going to be just so many distractions and breaks in play. I don't know. It's going to be really difficult, I think, in the second half. If you don't have already some good chemistry established to get that going.
Yeah, that's for sure. And speaking of breaks, let's just move on then to our Four Nations face-off roster that was picked last week on Wednesday. And John Tavares, Morgan Riley, and Chris Tanev were not chosen to be part of Team Canada, even though we mentioned this on our podcast with Damien Cox, and we were asking if Tavares had a chance. So he was right on all of them. No, it didn't happen. But I mean, I don't think it's not a snub like the way some people.
No.
Some people were really upset that, like, especially for Tavares, not to get on. But I mean, I was surprised for the defenseman. I was surprised that Travis Sanheim, who I had not heard of before.
He's like, I guess he's playing really well, Philadelphia, right?
But that's the thing. You can be playing. So is Chris Tanev, and
and personally, like, I kind of feel like, don't you sometimes need a really, like, the best shutdown defenseman in Canada?
Yeah, that's something that they don't
like offense all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know personally, but on the flip side, am I upset that these guys are going to get some extra rest over this time?
That's what I thought.
As they're older, not really.
No.
So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. They are, all three of them are older. Let's just say. I mean, Riley's only 30. He's the youngest of the three, but still, he logs a lot of minutes, right? And that would be, it's nicer for him to stay home and just take care of the kid for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And have that time off and relax. And I
mean, they did call JT to talk to him, so I figure he's like a bubble guy. If there's some sort of injury, he may get the call up, but overall,
apparently the reason why they, like, he wasn't chosen, let's just say Seth Jarvis of Carolina, who technically should be a Leaf, but
we won't go there. Yeah.
He kills penalties, right? So whereas JT doesn't. So that was one major difference. And I mean, Seth Jarvis, he's having a phenomenal season again. Like, he's a strong defensive forward. He's probably going to be up for the Selke this year. But yeah, that was one reason they said that Tavares possibly didn't get chosen because of that. They said for Tanev, it was lack of offense and injury concerns. I heard.
Yeah, well, I do have the injury concerns myself, that's why I don't mind that he gets the extra rest. But if you're going to have a warrior on your team, that's the guy. But you know what? This is like not real. It's not the Olympics. It's a made up tournament. It's a testing ground to kind of see. And I think the people who are running Team Canada, they know what he is,
Yeah.
So if they do, change their mindset going into when they're choosing for the Olympics, that might be a different story, a different consideration. Like, there are these guys that, we've named, they're known commodities, right? So
well, I think that the other defenseman that was chosen was Colton Parayko. And I think personally, I just think he was chosen just because Doug Armstrong is the leader of the management group, and he knows him being with St. Louis.
100%. There's a lot of those types of picks. Cause I mean, look at who they picked from Tampa Bay Lightning as well. It's like, like, there are other guys that are just as good or better than those guys to me.
Oh yeah.
that were passed over.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense being that this is such a short tournament too.
Yeah.
In some
you want
ways.
To go with the known commodities.
Right. Yeah. When it comes to like with the coaching staff, the management staff, that sort of thing.
And those guys will know how to execute when Cooper tells them to do something.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in a defensive way, because that's probably they're there more for that, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't know. Like I was more. I mean, yeah, you would love to have. I mean, Mitch Marner was chosen. We all knew that he would be. So that's fine. But in some ways, though, like 3 of our top players now are going to be there, like Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. So it's just like,
and don't forget Hakanpää.
Oh yeah, Hakanpää, Yanni Hakanpää, who's had some sort of procedure done on his knee, but apparently might be good enough to go and play.
Yeah, I found that Finland. Really interesting.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there, but
so that's that. I am a little bit like you were expressing in our last show. That is a little bit of a worry, but anyways, it'll be a good experience for them. I'm happy for them. I know that they're gonna enjoy their time, and we'll see how the games roll out,
how it all pans out. Yeah. All right. Well, he's not good enough for Team Canada, but he is good enough to be our star of the week. Who gets the honor this week, Sil?
So our star of the week for this Leafs Quick Hits episode is John Tavares. As we mentioned, he has 23 points in 26 games. Former Leafs captain has been playing amazing this season. So this past week, he got the game winner versus the Blackhawks, and he is tied for the team league in that department with Willie Nylander, each having 5 game winners this season. So of his 12 goals this season, only 3 have come on the power play, which is quite interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So he's getting it done 5-on-5, which we know we are a little bit short in that department lately. Yes. And with his goal versus the Capitals, he just surpassed Wendell Clark to take on sole possession of the 20th spot on the Leafs all-time points register.
Yeah. So JT, I think I think he's really took it to heart after last season and like all the people talking about him being like a step behind and slowing down like from last season. And I mean, even on the draw right now, he's 57%. So I think he's like 12th, between 10 and 15th spot in the league anyways.
No, I think he's higher than that, actually. Yeah.
I was looking last night. I could only
unless some people went like ahead of him, like, quickly, but last time I saw him, he was like a lot higher than that.
He's still doing great, obviously. Like that's his specialty is
so consistent in that regard. So,
on the draw, like that's his specialty. And, in some ways, that's why I think, I guess maybe he is, I don't know about the penalty killing part. He's never really played penalty killing, I don't think, in his career, but he can take those defensive zone draws and win them. But again,
he has dropped down a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of tied with other people, but he's 16th right now.
Yeah. Okay.
He was higher before. Anyway.
Yeah, no, he was I think he was 4th or 5th, something like that. Like he was way right in the top. He was definitely in the top 10. But anyways, he's still doing great, for us on the draw. He's, he leads the team that way. And and it's just from what we've said before too, like just the whole captaincy thing and just taking a load off of him. I think it really. Yeah,
he's like, since he was a Leaf, I don't think I've ever seen him this emotional on the ice.
Yeah,
it's just showing a lot more, just a lot more fire to his game, a lot more intensity. And that was I think he's just freer.
That was a great goal, like the one that it was versus the Capitals, where Tanev basically from his own end, from the defensive end, he passed it right up to JT, and he went in alone and scored. That was an amazing goal for him to score. At least he could score on the breakaway like that, as opposed to Willie, who's had like 5 chances and he can't get it in.
Yeah.
Right? But
they'll go in eventually.
Eventually they will go in. He's gotten lots of practice. But kudos to John Tavares being our star of the week this week. So
very well deserved.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're continuing the busy December schedule. And on Tuesday, the Leafs are going to be facing Sheldon Keefe's New Jersey Devils in Jersey. And then they will be coming home to play the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, and then at the end of the week, they have a couple of divisional games that are going to be big ones on a back-to-back again. It's like all these back-to-backs. Saturday night in Detroit, and then they come back home to play the Sabres on Sunday night. So
yeah, those are two that, again, like they have to have those.
Yes. Yeah, they have to have those. The game versus the Devils, I mean, I didn't look actually, but they were in first place in the league, the Devils.
Yeah, they were.
They were first overall. But I think we'll see a better Devils team, because the last time we saw them, like they had just come back from that European road trip.
Actually, lo and behold, the Washington Capitals have jumped into first place now.
Really?
And New Jersey has fallen to fifth.
Oh, wow.
Wow, and Washington even has 2 games in hand. So, yeah, so it's like, it's, you know, couple good games there, and they jumped into top spot.
Yeah,
we could have made a dent in that.
Yeah, we could have helped out Sheldon Keefe, right?
Yes.
But we decided not to. Okay. Yeah. And then with Anaheim, I mean, that's a game that you have to have regardless of Jacob Trouba being there now with his all that drama that the New York Rangers are having in
I know.
In the Big Apple there. Yeah.
Kind of crazy, actually. It's very cutthroat.
Yeah. And but yeah, and then those games versus Detroit and then the Sabres, I mean, yeah. They have to have both of those games. Doesn't matter if it's back to back or not. And I guess with the goaltending.
Yeah, like if those are 3 of the teams, two of the 3 teams that are at the bottom of our division.
Right. Yeah.
Have to have those.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the goaltending, I just expect it to go back and forth still. Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've each lost their last game, so
yeah. Yeah. And they
no need to, unless somebody starts to go on a real roll. Yeah. And I mean, actually, Wall's roll just ended. So after 7 games. So,
yeah. And they both, Stolarz and Wall, they both played well in the games. It's not like either of them didn't, play well. They all played good. So, I don't know. I guess I assume Stolarz will get the start in New Jersey.
And that's fit. That he should. He's from there.
Oh,
he should play there. He should play that game. And I think he didn't get last time we played them. He didn't get the start. So.
No, it was Hildeby, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yep. And then, so he should get the start there. And then Wall will get the start at home versus Anaheim. And then they'll go back
and then they'll
Stolarz.
flip-flop. Yep. Yeah. Yep, definitely.
For the back-to-back. All right. So that's it for now. We'll be back next week with a full-length episode of Ladies Talking Leafs. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a comment on YouTube or on social media. Our handle is at LTL1917, and let us know your thoughts on the show or the Leafs. You can also listen to us on the Believe Network, and don't forget to hit that follow button wherever you listen or watch our show, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your favorite app.
And a reminder to check out our Ko-fi page as well at kofi.com/LTL1917. And while visiting there, you can consider supporting our show by buying us a coffee. Any donation goes towards helping us produce the show and making it even better for you. You can find the link to our Ko-fi page on our show notes or in any of our social media profile pages.
And as always, thank you to our healthcare workers and first responders for everything that they do.
And we thank you, as always, for listening and watching Ladies Talking Leafs, presented by Bet Online. Until next time, go Leafs, go.
Leafs, go.
Do you believe?